Well, today I got a letter in the mail from Mr. Schmidt, and he's got a couple of questions, and he's got a really nice looking 1937 W30 McCormick Deering. And a couple of his questions maybe some of you guys have too, so I thought I'd try to answer. At least if nothing else, he can watch this video and he might get a little more out of it. So what happened was his tractor didn't have all the stuff for the governor, he thinks he has a, the adjustable governor, with the sawtooth throttle on it. That was sometime the best I can figure, and the stuff I've found in the books that I've looked in is that I think McCormick Deering Farmall made it available sometime mid 1937. Now what happened is a lot of the older tractors, it was a field modification. They'd get it put in, you could have a 33 regular and you could get that same assembly put in to change the inside of the governor, and they give you an adjustable throttle, which is really nice because you could save fuel and give you a little bit more control over the tractor itself. So his question was, should he go back to the non-adjustable kind of governor, or should he go with the adjustable kind of governor, the newer style? And what's the difference, and how do you know the difference if you look at it, and which do you prefer? I've got tractors that have both, and if I'm going to parade them around or take them to a show, I love to have the adjustable throttle. That way you can throttle it down and just put, 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 put. You're not standing on the clutch and doing a lot of that stuff, trying to keep from running over the guy in front of you in a parade. So the difference of them is when you look at them, here's a governor assembly, and this is the newer style. This is the newer style governor assembly. So if you look at it from the front, you can see that it's rounded shape. And then this part, this little bearing that runs on this rock shaft inside your governor, if you look at it, it's really thin, right? And the part of the governor assembly shaft actually sticks out through the front of it. Now this is the old style governor assembly, and this part has supposed to have a bearing in here and a flat, and it rides on that same rock shaft inside the governor assembly, but obviously this one's worn out and I've taken it apart and got it. But if you look at them, it's real easy to tell the newer style from the older style. So when you look at it, you take the top of your governor assembly off right over here. So you can take this part right here off, and you can shine a light in there and you can look, and if you see this narrow bearing here that rides on that rock shaft, you know you have a newer one. And if you see this wide one here, you know you have the older style. Most of the time, all of them I've ever taken apart that were older style were non-adjustable. So if your tractor has this governor housing top with this little arm that comes back here towards the magneto, there's a really high likelihood that you have the newer style governor assembly, and it has the adjustable throttle. If your tractor doesn't have this, then chances are it's the older style. So there's a bar that goes in here and a couple of pivots and a couple of things, and you have a little spring and a boot that covers it all up. And I've got a tractor out here that have all this stuff off of it, so I can take some pictures and and show people what it's supposed to look like and how it's supposed to work. The good thing about it is though, and it took me a while to figure this out, I had to look through a bunch of different manuals for the F30 and the F20 and the 1530 and the 1020. The good thing about it is if you need parts for it, the regular, the F20, the F30, the 1530, the 1020, and the 2236, all the Farmall or McCormick tractors in that era ran the same governor assembly. Now it'll either be the old style or the new style, but they will all interchange. So if you've got a W30 and you need parts and you can find an old F20, you can take that governor assembly out of that F20 and it will sock right in that W30 and fit just perfect. So that makes finding the parts a whole lot easier and finding them that aren't completely worn out. So, you know, that's one of the things that I recommend you do. One of the first things you want to do is get into that governor once you got your engine rebuilt or whatever. Get in that governor and make sure that everything in that thing is nice and tight. You're not gonna, it's not worn out. You're not gonna drop something in there and cause all kinds of problems. You know, you drop a pin out of that governor, it rolls around on that cam gear and it tears up your cam, makes it jump time. Bad things can happen. It's pretty easy. You can get to every one of these bolts without taking the radiator off. You have to take the shroud off, but then you can get in there and you can take it apart. Take your mag off, it comes off, everything comes out, and you can get in there and work on it. Make sure it's right. I recommend you do that before you ever try to start it, because the last thing you want to do is run away with itself, you know. They don't have a whole lot of main bearings underneath them, especially the bigger ones like an F30 or a W30 or a 2236. They've only got bearings at the end, so if that thing starts spinning at 2,000 RPM, you're going to get pistons going to swap holes with each other if you're not careful. So, back to this, it's I prefer, on the tractors, like I said, the ones I'm going to parade, I prefer the adjustable throttle governor. It's just a little nicer, but if you come back and look at my W30, which my W30 is a 1936 model. If you come over here and look, it doesn't have that little arm that comes back here towards the magneto with the pivot for the adjustable throttle. This one doesn't have it. This is a non-adjustable throttle tractor. So they really liked them. There was a good improvement. That's why they backdated them and they went, because if you look at all my other tractors, you can come over here to this regular. It's got an adjustable throttle. This narrow tread F20's got an adjustable. This F30's got an adjustable. My 1928 1020 has an adjustable. My 1929 2236 has adjustable. So they liked them. So that's why almost all the guys that had them swapped them out and put that adjustable on it. They're a little nicer, saves you fuel. When you're not working it, you don't have to listen to it scream. So it's a pretty good setup. I've looked in about probably 7 or 8 of my different manuals, and a lot of them will have it'll have the parts of the timeline breakdown of when they switched from the old style to the newer style adjustable governor. And it seems to be, the best I can figure by the serial numbers, it puts it around middle to late 1937. So if you've got a tractor that's 37, I would put one on it if it didn't have it, and it would be correct. Or if you put one on a 34, it's still going to be correct, because if you had a 34 way back in the day and you wanted it, you would have put it on there, and it would have been put on by, you know, McCormick Deering International Harvester. Probably in the fall when you took it in to get it serviced, you had them do that, shoot a coat of paint on it, come back, and it was ready to go. So I hope this helps. So I forgot to mention the service manual for International Harvester models F12 all the way through W40 actually has it in here and tells you how to adjust that adjustable throttle or variable speed governor. And it's on paragraph 67 through 69, and it tells you how to do it and what you have to do. And then on the next page, it gives you the part numbers and a little bit more. It tells you how to overhaul the governor. So this is a pretty valuable book if you're going to be doing this. It's the service manual for the International Harvester. F12, F14, F20, F30, O12, 14, 1020, W12, W14, W30, and W40.
Where do you get that?
I think I got this in that binder books, or I believe, I don't remember. But if you just look for the service manual for International Harvester with these models, it's in there. And that's what you need to adjust that, Governor, because when you take it apart, you're gonna have to readjust it. Thanks for watching.